Hey guys, how are you doing? I hope that you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the vlog. So you want to shoot film, you're a beginner, but yet you don't know which camera to start with. Well, I'm here to help you make a decision. If you watch my previous video, one of the mistakes that beginners make when they get into film photography is that they start off with the wrong camera, and that can really make or break your passion for this whole film photography. And I made a reference in my last video to another YouTube video that I was watching. He mentioned that he had quit film photography. It was too difficult, it was too expensive, it was taking too much of his time, and the quality was not that great. And I dispute all those points because let's take the last point, for example, when it comes to quality. I mean, you tell me, if I'm shooting with this camera here, which is my Mamiya RZ67, it's a medium format camera. If I'm shooting with this camera, I bet you this will give any digital camera a run for its money. What I really wanted to talk about for this episode is really the best camera for you, because the one of the biggest mistakes you could make is choosing the wrong camera. I mean, if you're coming into film photography and you're looking at a camera like this, or you're looking at a camera like this one here, these cameras are pretty good looking. Look at that, pretty good looking, right? And you see these cameras and they're so attractive, and you hyper focus on these. You may be making a big mistake if you're actually starting off in a camera like these two that I've shown you. It's not recommended, because in film photography there's so much diversity when it comes to cameras. I would not recommend you get into these cameras right away, but if you do have the experience, if you do have the expertise, I mean, by all means go for it, right? But if you're a beginner, and I'm speaking to the beginners here, if you're a beginner, just avoid medium format, okay? Avoid medium format. Start with a basic camera. Start with the basic 35mm camera. Now, that's not to say that as you progress you stay with 35mm, but the point is that as you progress you could move on to a folding camera like this, because then you understand the concepts of film photography, and then these cameras are more easier to understand. Then you could move on to even a camera like this one here, which is the Mamiya M645-1000S, and I've made a review. I've made a few videos about this camera already, and this camera is just beautiful. You could, if you so wish, if you are so dedicated, you could move on to a camera such as this one here, which is my Big Daddy Mamiya RZ67, or you could move on to a large format camera. And I've made a video about large format photography as well. If you're new and you just want to find out how the shooting experience with film is, okay, you don't want to get too deep, okay? Start with something like this. Start with a point and shoot, okay? It's easy to these things you can pick up for like $5 or less from your local thrift store. Just buy one, load it up, go around, shoot a few, and then take them to your local film lab, and then go get the results and see how they look. You might actually be surprised with the quality that you can get with these. With these, you can get into street photography. You would be able to capture some really candid shots of your family. There's not much to worry about when it comes to these cameras. There's not a lot of features. The camera does all the work for you. All you need to do is turn it on. There are a few features on it like panorama, or depending on the camera that you get. But my point is that it allows you to just get into the process gradually. The next easiest option for you as a beginner really is going for a rangefinder camera like this one here. The beauty about these rangefinder cameras is they're so much fun. they involve you, and that's all the draw of film photography. But they are so much fun, and they guide you. They guide you as to how to get your images to align. A lot of them have a rangefinder. Some of them have a split rangefinder mechanism in the viewfinder here. And when you look through, depending on how the images are aligned, then that means your image is in range. The beautiful thing about these rangefinder cameras is they produce excellent images. You enjoy the whole process of loading film into the camera, which is so special. You enjoy the process. It slows you down to be able to assess how far your subject is. It's not automatic, so you're gonna have to be involved in the process. And you get very excellent quality images as well. I mean, what could be better? So as a beginner, I would totally recommend a rangefinder for sure. I mean, point and shoot is for those that don't want to be involved in the process. They want the camera to do it for them. But a rangefinder is one of the topmost recommendations that I would give for a beginner. The next step up, I mean, for a beginner, is you have to make a decision as to two choices. Okay, if you're coming from digital photography and you are really into digital photography, you like digital cameras, you cannot live without the automatic features. A good transition for someone like you would be a camera like this, like the Canon EOS cameras, right? I have a Canon EOS 650, I have a Canon EOS 630, I have other models, but there are other models, not just Canon, Pentax. There are different automatic film cameras. Some of these cameras can take up to 3 frames per second, and they have your digital LCD display right there, so they can come in quite handy, and you will find the transition to be quite easy for someone like you. If you're really into digital photography or digital cameras, this would be a great transition for someone like you, right? Now, if however you are fascinated with this whole concept of manual cameras, and you're tired of the digital cameras, you just want something that will bring you down to the basics of photography, absolutely go for a camera like this, an SLR camera that is also fully manual. A camera like this, like the Minolta SRT cameras, they are fully manual and they are excellent. They are very much suited to your needs. They will teach you the basic. The camera gets out of the way and you will have to compose the image based on your aperture setting, your shutter speed, and your ISO setting. And I've learned so much about photography just from a camera, using cameras like this, because the camera gets out of the way, unlike digital cameras or even the camera that I talked about. The camera gets out of the way and you learn how the interplay of these three things works to give you a good exposure, a good image. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is for you to find the right camera to start your film photography journey with. As a matter of fact, I have a few cameras that I have not even touched yet, and I know that I'm trying to work my way and my expertise level to that point where I can be comfortable operating the cameras and understand what it's all about and be able to enjoy the camera fully. And for me personally, as a film photographer, I have a few cameras on my list to get to eventually as my skills have progressed. One such camera would be the Zeiss IcoFlex, this camera right here. I'm yet to get to it, and I'm looking forward to shooting with this camera. The beautiful thing about this camera at this point is that with the experience that I've been able to gather so far, working my way up, it shouldn't be difficult at all to shoot with this. Another camera that I have not shot with yet would be my big camera here, my Mamiya RZ67. I've been fortunate enough to experience shooting with the step down camera that I would consider a step down from the RZ67, and this one here, the Mamiya M645 1000S. So I've already shot with this one, and it was such a joy, it was such a pleasure to shoot with, as I mentioned in my review. Another set of cameras that I have not shot with yet would be my folding cameras here. One of them is this one here. So with these cameras, I'm gonna employ the knowledge that I have picked up along the way, because these cameras are fully manual. There's no light meter in these cameras, so I'll be using my light meter for sure. So that experience with my light meter is certainly going to come in handy. My experience working with the shutter speed, and with the aperture settings on different film cameras will come in handy as well. So I'm really looking forward to shooting with these, and I'm going to take you guys on the journey as I go through this. So that said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. You can go for this if you don't have the time or you don't have the commitment to get too involved. You could go for a rangefinder. If you want something fun, you want to enjoy the whole process of loading film, enjoy shooting with a film camera, and be a bit more involved, go for a rangefinder. And if you want to be a little bit more into film photography, you want to go deeper into film photography, you want to learn the basics, if you love digital cameras and you cannot live with the automatic features, go for an SLR with automatic features built in, like this one here. But if you are more focused about the settings and what film is about, what film photography is about, by all means, go for a manual camera. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this quick video, and if this video helped you in any way, please click the like button. Take care guys, and as always, stay safe.